As the West Ham manager, his first match, if you remember, was here in the FA Cup 16 days ago. So this is the third meeting of these teams this season. Villa are fresh back from Monte Carlo, and it almost couldn't be less like Monte Carlo here today, because we've got grey storm clouds above Villa Park. It is cold, there's squally rain blowing in to the corners of this stadium, in one end, out the other, blowing into our faces, Stephen. It is the classic British January football match.
Yeah, I mean, before when we came out, we've been sat down now for around about an hour out here, and it was pouring down. It looked really miserable. Thankfully now that rain has stopped a little, and hopefully we can see some fireworks on the pitch, because Villa, they need to get a result here to close that gap on fourth, but also West Ham need a result. They've got to find a victory somehow today.
Yes, West Ham are just preparing themselves in the white shirts, sort of off-white, claret shorts, claret socks, and Aston Villa, of course, in the claret and blue shirts here at their home ground, white shorts and the light blue socks. Morgan Rogers trots forward and takes the ball from referee Peter Banks. They're over the ball in the centre circle in the first half. West Ham are going to be defending the Holt end to our right, and we're just waiting for the clock to take over and the referee to get the nod. There's the whistle. Morgan Rogers plays it back to Yuri Tillemans, and it is Aston Villa who get the match underway. Go all the way back to Martinez, the goalkeeper. He goes long through the middle. I'll run you through the teams again in a moment or two, but Camera out to Cash on the far side, and then again Camera with all of that hair is bundled over, and it's a free kick as the challenge comes in from Paqueta. And the BBC World Service listeners are joining us here at a rather wintry, stormy Villa Park. Probably you're better off where you are if you're listening on the World Service. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 0. Although I suspect probably we've got listeners in Antarctica. You never know with the World Service, so maybe not. But it's a free kick that West Ham are going to defend, and it's a high line. That's the way, isn't it, under Graham Potter? Even though the free kick for Villa is getting on 15 yards inside the West Ham half, they are still 3 yards outside the box, and actually Villa play it square, and Digne hits a long pass into the penalty area that's headed across the box. Souček gets there strongly and well, and is able to head it out to Kudus, who's running it forward towards the halfway line, but loses out to Ramsey, and Villa go all the way back to Martinez. So Stephen Warnock sitting alongside me, former Villa man, but great Premier League experience as Emiliano Martinez clears the ball right towards us and way above the head of Ramsey. It's out of play, and the ball's played back by Tsofal, and I'm not sure Areola kept that in there. Certainly you don't.
No, I didn't at all. We're about, 30 yards away from the incident, and I'm looking along, and I'm not sure the assistant referee on the far side was quite in line enough to see that, but that looked like it had run out of play, and it should have been a corner to Aston Villa. Instead,
Areola, who's come in for Fabianski, who's on the bench, Areola was able to find Tsofal, who won a free kick. So Villa then, with Martinez in goal, the ball is at his feet at the moment, in front of the vast Holt end, framed behind him. And then Cash, Konza, Mings and Digne, the back four. Camera and Tielemans in midfield with Morgan Rogers, Bailey and Ramsey wide, and Watkins through the middle. John Duran among the substitutes. But a lot of talk about the possibility of him moving to West Ham, as there was right at the start of the season, if you remember, when it looked as though it was inevitable he would move, and then what happened right at the start of the season was Duran came on as a substitute and scored for Villa at West Ham on the opening weekend of the season, as Aston Villa won there, and so followed any number of goals, 6 of them actually, as a substitute for Duran. Throw-in for West Ham, long from Tsofal into the area, but it bounces down, and Camera will run it away as he's tackled, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Villa in their own left-back position. And West Ham, their team then, Areola in goal, and then Tsofal, Kilman and Cresswell as the central defenders, with Wan-Bissaka and Emerson wide, Mavropanos suspended, Alvarez and Soler in the middle, then Souček, Paqueta and Kudus as the striker. And there is no Jared Bowen or Crescencio Somerville. There was a hope that they might be involved. Neither of them are involved. Here's Rogers as the challenge comes in from Tsofal, and that's just caught him around about the shin. I think you'll be okay, Rodgers. He's fallen down off the pitch, but it is Villa's ball.
Oh, he made the most of that. Absolutely made the most of it to make sure he got a free kick there, Rodgers. There was barely a touch on his ankle from Sofal.
It is a free kick, and Rodgers is okay. And here is Tielemans, who started the comeback last weekend when Aston Villa drew 2-2 with Arsenal from 2-0 down, with what was a brave header in amongst the foot of the defender. I think it was Marino, wasn't it? As Camara receives it from Martinez. Villa playing out from the back. Unai Emery sitting somewhere up in the stand. I don't think we've seen a shot of him yet, have we? Oh, we have?
Yeah, he was sat up in the stand, high up.
Is he inside or is he outside?
No, he's outside. Yeah, just in front of a box by the looks of it. So he can go inside and make a phone call if he needs to.
Yep, which can be done as Watkins through the middle. Now the pass for Ramsey. Oh, in comes the challenge on the edge of the penalty area from Kilman, but he got the ball. It was risky. It needed a well-timed tackle. Fortunately for West Ham, that's what it was.
Yeah, first reflection was it's a really well-timed tackle from Kilman. A little bit reckless, maybe a little bit out of control, but he had to make sure that he won the ball, but it looked like he just got enough of the ball. We'll wait to get a replay to make sure that is exactly what happened.
West Ham have been porous this season, haven't they? Whether it's Lopetegui or in the early days under Graham Potter. Only the bottom three coming into this, only the bottom four teams coming into this had conceded more goals than West Ham, and that tackle from Kilman right on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, he just had to time it well, and he times it perfectly. We've just seen a replay in front of us, and absolutely superb, but it was so easy for Aston Villa to cut through. A little bit of one and two touch football, and they found Morgan Rodgers in a positive position.
Nice from Villa, pleasant on the eye, the football, knocking it around nicely. As I say, we've had a number of showers. I'm not sure if it's actually raining now, is it?
I don't think it is, John. No, it looks nice.
But there is that greasy surface on the pitch, floodlights beginning to take effect, and Graham Potter just walking forward. This is fourth match as the head coach of West Ham United after the departure of Julen Lopetegui, and West Ham still in the bottom half of the table.
It is raining. I've just looked up at the far stand, and I can just see under the floodlights it looks nice and calm, doesn't it? But it's
ball played over the top of the West Ham defence. Kilman struggling to get there, and the ball, which was crossed by Rodgers, actually hit Kilman and bounced behind for the first corner. And West Ham are dicing here, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just finding it a little bit difficult this time. Cresswell drawn into a position in midfield, and Morgan Rodgers spins in behind him. A lovely ball from Bailey, and then he can't quite do enough to get it into the pass of Ollie Watkins. Good defending again from Kilman. That's two now that he's prevented getting into Ollie Watkins.
So it's corner, first corner of the match for Aston Villa. Bailey's going to take this, left-footed from the far side, actually takes it short, and then the ball is crossed towards the back post. There's one or two shouts from the Villa fans in the stand. Camara on the edge of the area to Ramsey. Ramsey, right-footed ball. I think it's beyond everyone at the far post. It was Tielemans sliding in. I'm not sure he got there before it was over the line.
John, it was the West Ham fans who were shouting. So what happened was, when they took the short corner, and they've done it twice now, is that they've blocked Kudus, and they make sure that he can't get to the ball, and that allows the corner taker then to become free to get that cross in. So the West Ham fans were aggrieved at that block.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. There is no doubt now, you can definitely see there's another one of those rainy squalls is blowing across Villa Park as Villa come forward, and into the area now with a chance on the goal. Jacob Ramsey, lovely interplay on the edge of the area. The 1-2 sent Ramsey through, and Villa take the lead in the 8th minute. Beautifully done. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0.
Oh, far too easy for Aston Villa. Poor defensively from West Ham. Aston Villa so comfortable in midfield and finding positions, and Ramsey finds the ball just in behind of Souček, and as he receives it, he fires it into Ollie Watkins, and Watkins just delightfully just takes a touch, then passes it back to him very easily, and then he takes one touch past the press of Sofal, and it's far too easy for him just to pass it into the bottom corner. So comfortable, so easy for Aston Villa, but so worrying for West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham with this, is it fair to call it a makeshift defence? Certainly not the first choice defence, by any means. And Villa have started just as Unai Emery asked them to, with exactly the right attitude. They've been sharp, they've been on it, and they're in the lead.
Yeah, they could have been 3-0 up within the space of 8 minutes. They've had opportunities, and that is just a worry for Graham Potter and his West Ham team, because they've just cut through them at every opportunity, and it's been so simple. Hasn't been anything particularly difficult.
Yeah, very good finish from Ramsey. His first Premier League goal of the season. Did score in the Champions League, if you remember, on his Champions League debut. Villa come again, Ramsey through the middle. He angles it to Watkins. Watkins just finding his feet and then cutting back on his right foot to the edge here. Camera with a shot. That's blocked by the diving Alvarez. And the ball ricochets out towards the far side. Still in play, actually. Paqueta is beaten to it. Now Villa again. Camera once more, 30 yards out. Camera to the corner of the box to Bailey. Villa are going in for the kill here, it seems. Cross left-footed into the penalty area. Watkins goes for it. That was actually well defended by Zofal. Last ditch, mind you. And then Kudus wins it back from Camera. And West Ham lose it. Kudus dispossessed. Through for Watkins. Right side of the area. Goalkeeper Areola comes out. Still Watkins. And Watkins fights Rodgers, but the offside flag is up and the goal will not stand. It was tapped in the end by Rodgers, but I think possibly Watkins was offside when the ball was played through to him initially.
Yeah, they can smell blood, Aston Villa, can't they? They can sense that this is a team that is so low on confidence, so out of shape in the way that they're playing. He is half a yard offside, Ollie Watkins. It's the correct call. It will go to VAR. They'll look at it, but you can see quite clearly he's offside. But West Ham, they can't get out. They can't find a pass, and Kudus caught on the ball there. He's trying to dribble his way through. Camera comfortably intercepts the ball and then fires a lovely ball into Watkins. He just doesn't need to be that eager. There's space in behind this West Ham team.
There is. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0 in the FA Cup tie in Graham Potter's first match in charge. Remember, it was West Ham who took an early lead in that match when Paqueta scored the opening goal, and then Villa came back to win it. It was a rousing occasion if you watched it or you listened on the Friday night. Villa coming forward again. Bailey now attacking the West Ham defence. Excellent work. Left foot shot, but it's straight at Areola from the angle, who's able to drop forward and down on it and scoop it up into his chest. Good again from Villa.
Oh, outstanding from Villa. Matty Cash driving from the right back position, feeding Bailey, and then Bailey getting his tail up, getting a little bit of confidence, couple of step overs. But what was very sort of clear from Aston Villa's point of view was men committed forward. There were 6 Aston Villa players in the penalty box when they took that counter-attack forward.
Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Already been a very eventful afternoon, if you were listening to the commentary on the Tottenham-Leicester match, and what a result for Leicester to go there and win. What it means, we've already heard live from Ange Postecoglou. I'm imagining we'll hear that interview again, and I thought, very like last weekend actually, Ange Postecoglou in quite a conciliatory mood in the position that he's in now, as Ramsey, the goal scorer here, is fouled by Souček, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa inside their own half. So yes, more on that at half-time, and also Brentford's good win at Crystal Palace. And in the WSL, the 2 matches that are currently being played, it's Leicester 2, Liverpool 1, and West Ham 2, Everton 0. So things going rather better for West Ham's women than they are for the men here in the Premier League. As Tielemans, Paqueta in with a challenge, Souček plays it forward to Kudus. Really for West Ham, Bowen can't come back quickly enough. It's been so important for them this season. Here's Paqueta, rolls a pass into the centre circle for Soler. He's returned to the team for this one. West Ham coming forward, virtually their first proper attack, and then Emerson's intended cross is blocked out of play by Bailey for a throw into West Ham, who go back towards the halfway line. Floodlights shining down brightly from the top of the Doug Ellis stand, all along the top of that stand. The flags on top of that, 5 of them up there, are being blown in all directions. Even as I look up there, I think all 5 flags are blowing in different directions. It's that sort of afternoon. Villa 1, West Ham 0, and Souček, the West Ham captain, in the absence of Jared Bowen, out with this fractured foot. I must say I was surprised that Bowen is so close to coming back. when he had an injury like that. Paul played forward for Digne, who might have been fouled by Paquetá. He went down, no free kick. Paquetá into the area, angles it for Kudus on the right-hand side. Kudus now holding it up, waiting for the arrival of Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka then plays a left-footed ball that was deflected away to the edge of the box. Rodgers is going to be off with this for Villa. Early ball for him, but didn't get it quite right. Looking for the early pass to Watkins, and Areola was quickly out.
Yeah, well, I wondered why the foul wasn't given on Luca Digne. Thought it was a foul from Paquetá. But West Ham have responded now. They've just managed to get themselves a little bit of foothold in the game, starting to have a little bit of possession, which was much needed after that onslaught from Aston Villa early on in the game.
I was going to ask you, Stephen, why it is you think that Graham Potter has chosen Areola today as West Ham attack. Wan-Bissaka, oh, that's nice from Kudus. Kudus stretches, then the shot from Alvarez, but that was blocked inside the penalty area. Tried to bend it around there were several defenders who were blocking his route to goal, and one of them was able to deflect it away wide. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0 in the Premiership. There's been a try in the Sale Bath match. Adam Whitty.
And it might be that Bath have sealed victory. A breakaway try that sees them lead 29-16 with 5 minutes left. Tom Carr-Smith winning the foot race after a deep kick into the backfield to score. Sale 16, Bath 29, 76 minutes gone.
West Ham almost finding a way through. Paquetá in the penalty area, and his shot was deflected away wide, but that was a chance.
Yeah, it was. Just a little bit of body strength on Ezri Konsa, and then a flick around to the ball. He didn't turn his back, and then he managed just to flick it out for a corner.
Did Konsa, was that a foul on Konsa?
No, I just think
misjudged it.
I think he's just misjudged it.
Corner though, corner, first corner of the match to West Ham, who are finally in the game, Stephen. Corner from the right. Also Bristol 43, Newcastle 28. The other latest score in the Premiership. And West Ham to take this corner from the right. In it comes left-footed towards the back post. A stretching header from Souček, but it's blocked by a defender. Bounces down. Villa with Rodgers. Then Ramsey. Then forward from Rodgers against Watkins. Watkins up against Wan-Bissaka, who's done well, actually. He's caught Watkins, who has to take it all the way down the left wing. And now West Ham, the reinforcements are there in the white shirts. And eventually it's put out of play for a throw to Villa down the left-hand side.
Yeah, they were just having a little look on VAR there to see whether it was a handball as Souček headed it, and it just hit the chest of Tielemans. He had his arms in by his side as well, on his chest. It was far too close. No penalty, the correct decision. It was the cries from the West Ham fans that they wanted a penalty.
Well, at least West Ham have arrived in the match now, and they've had a couple of chances, and Villa with a throw down the left, just down to our left. Look at Digne, has just picked up the ball from in front of the hoardings, and he's got the claret front of his shirt wrapped right up around the ball, just to get some of that moisture off it. 16 minutes played here at Villa Park, 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Digne, here's the run, there's the throw, the ball loops into the near post. Looks as though
I could have thrown it further than that.
Look as though it slipped out of his hands.
I think I could have thrown it further from here, John. That was terrible.
After all of that rubbing. Here's Alvarez. Alvarez to Kudus. Kudus now is fouled by camera, just stuck out a leg, and Kudus toppled over it, and it's a free kick 4 or 5 yards inside the Aston Villa half. West Ham, actually, if you watch them here, they take the free kick up to Kudus, but Villa have got it back on the edge of the penalty area. Watkins. Celtic come here on Wednesday. That match, by the way, we'll have coverage of it all on 5 Live, the final night of the league stage of the new look Champions League. But the commentary here, Villa Celtic, will be on Sports Extra, and Manchester City Club Bruges will be on 5 Live. And cash for Villa as they go back into their own half. Yes, Aston Villa, who have been impressive here again under Emery this season. Just the one defeat in the first league match of the season when Arsenal came in and won here. Since then, it's 10 Premier League matches at Villa Park for Aston Villa, unbeaten. They did lose in the Carabao Cup here to Crystal Palace, but just the one defeat here at Villa Park in the Premier League. So it's a tough place to come and get a result, and West Ham are already 1-0 down. But here they come, Graham Potter's team. Hello Mings steps in against Kudus. Souček, that was a tricky one for him, as he did well actually to keep possession for West Ham against Morgan Rogers. Now it's back in the centre circle.
They've just changed things as well. We spoke about them before the game, about Paqueta playing up front. He's done that now. He's now become that false number 9, and it's just allowing Soler and Kudos to come off into little areas in behind Tielemans and Kamara. So they're having a little bit of a problem now.
Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Jacob Ramsey's goal, well taken, wasn't it? So it was a lovely goal, slipped through. It was Watkins, wasn't it, with the return pass to him, left side of the penalty area. Just a composed finish from him.
Just a simple pass. So often you can lash at that and try and put your laces through it as West Ham come forward.
They do with Kudus, and Kudus rolling the pass to Wan-Bissaka. Kudus makes a run out to the right-hand side. The pass, though, comes back to the Mexican, Alvarez, with the long pass out towards the left-hand side, which is blocked off Cash and out for a corner by Emerson, so it's another West Ham corner.
Nice switch of play from Alvarez. I think Paqueta thought it was going towards him, and it wasn't. It was meant for Emerson down that left-hand side. Just tried to dink it past Matty Cash, well defended by Cash, but this is an opportunity now where West Ham will feel that they can hurt Aston Villa. They won the first contact on the last corner.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on Souček, who is at the back post, now running across the edge of the 6-yard box. In it comes, it's actually headed away for Villa, but comes back out into the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka's going to lift one, certainly lifted that, up to the far side of the penalty area. It's driven across there, but headed away near the penalty spot for Aston Villa. West Ham take up possession again. Cresswell, pass to the right here to Solfau, and now Kudus is onto this, and then in comes the challenge from Tielemans to challenge it out of play for a throw into West Ham down the right. And final whistle's now gone. Sale Bath, Adam Whitty.
Yeah, and Bath have won. Big win for them. They've won by 32 points to 23. They won the penalty in the final moments to seal victory. It means Sale have lost for the first time at home in over a year. Bath stay top, and by some distance too. Full time, Sale 23, Bath 32.
Solfau's long throw. Kamara got up well to head that down and away, and it's back to the halfway line. Bristol have stretched their lead against Newcastle. It is Bristol 53, Newcastle 35, and in the United Rugby Championship, Glasgow 17, Connacht 12 is the latest score in what is a 3:30 kick-off. 4:30 kick-off here at Villa Park. Villa leading 1-0, but West Ham have come back into it as Villa win the ball back with Digne on the edge of their own penalty area. It's passed out by Martinez to Tielemans, and Tielemans forward towards Rogers. Rogers in space, turns, Rogers through the middle, running out the West Ham defence, and then couldn't get the pass right to Bailey. Well, that was a chance.
It was a chance. It was beautiful. I mean, the position he gets it, the ball, Morgan Rogers, in between both Alvarez and Souček. Alvarez takes a gamble that it's going to go into Kamara, and then he turns and he drives. Credit to Max Kilman, though. He just holds his ground, and then he sort of just at the right moment steps out, and it gives Morgan Rogers the decision to make, to a shoot, to a pass, and then he overhits that pass because he's under pressure.
Yeah, all the way behind for a goal kick. But from that goal kick, West Ham have lost possession again. Villa, I have to say, it does feel as though there'll be more goals in this match. That's how it feels just now. Mings then strongly comes forward with the ball. This is his longest run in the Villa team since he came back from that horrible knee injury at the start of last season. Mings still on the left wing, gets it back from Ramsey, and then uses Tielemans, who's behind him. And then Kamara, tight black gloves on. Kamara looks for Cash to his right, and Cash now with power to the byline, and the defenders a block it behind. Soler went with him. It's a corner to Villa.
Yeah, had to stick with him, had to make sure that he tracked him all the way, because it looked like Matty Cash had shown him a clean pair of heels, and he was just going to dink it into that back post space. But credit to Soler, because he doesn't want to be running back into that position, but you can just see West Ham are a little bit light in that midfield area, so it's up to either him or Kudus to track those runners as well.
So 1-0 to Aston Villa. They've got John McGinn on the bench, incidentally, which is good timing with Celtic coming here on Wednesday night. I'm sure he'll want to be involved in that. John McGinn, his grandfather, Jack, was the Celtic chairman way back. Corner for Villa. Digne to take this. There's just a little lull. You can hear one lone voice shouting something as Digne plays the corner in, but it's headed away by Tsofal at the back post. Got good distance on that. Camera got there first for Villa. Passed it all the way back to Martinez, who was only about 10 yards inside his own half. Then the pass forward, but the offside flag is quickly up. Digne coming back from an offside position. However, Souček has challenged him, but he's all right. He went sprawling down, but he's okay. And West Ham take the free kick, but referee Banks a little fussily, I think, has asked them to come back and take it again.
Yeah, it was a little bit fussy because West Ham were away and they had an opportunity to break, and perhaps he just didn't feel that some of the Aston Villa players were switched on, and it was probably a couple of yards, but I mean, you're really nitpicking there, aren't you?
Yeah, Mr. Fussy. Ali Bruce Ball was telling me this week when they were flying to Monaco during the week that there was an announcement in the airport from Mr. Tickle. Long, which amused me. Long pass downfield from the goalkeeper Areola, but Watkins is able to head it back to Digne, and then Kudus blocks that out of play for a throw-in. So yeah, that little change from West Ham that you spotted, Stephen, with the false nine. Paquetá as the false nine. That was very much the talk in Paris this week with Luis Enrique. I'm not sure many of the followers of Paris Saint-Germain are terribly enamoured with a false nine, but it seemed to do the work the other night against Manchester City. Villa coming down the right-hand side, back to Camera. Little ball into Rodgers on the edge of the box, very congested in there centrally, and his attempt at returning the pass to Kudus was blocked on the edge of the box by West Ham. Digne's ball in, head up from Watkins, but the offside flag was up. Headed it down, backing away. It's a good centre-forward's header, actually, but he didn't get the power on that he wanted, and Areola was able to pick it up.
Difficult header to really generate any power, always running away from goal. He was almost saying to Luca Digne, want it a little bit closer towards the 6-yard box, want it in behind the West Ham defenders, but he's got such quality on that left-hand side, Luca Digne.
Yes, 1-0, Aston Villa lead, and a foul that Villa have committed. Konsa on Paquetá, and it's a free kick to West Ham inside their own half. It is now West Ham 2, Everton 0, still West Ham 2, Everton 0, but Leicester 2, Liverpool 1 in the WSL. And earlier, big win, big game of the day. Chelsea's 1-0 win against Arsenal. Crystal Palace 2, Tottenham 3 in the WSL. And the women's football show, as ever, the highlights will be on tonight, after Match of the Day, actually. Match of the Day 2 on BBC One. Anytime on iPlayer, and actually new from this weekend or tomorrow morning, Monday morning, Match of the Day 2 is going to be repeated the following morning on BBC 2. I was actually watching Match of the Day at breakfast time this morning.
So was I.
As I often have to say, I tend to do that more as age catches up on me.
Why did you look at me then? Trying to say I've got the same problem.
I was warning you that that's what's to come.
Oh no, it's already there, John.
Yeah, it's already there. Still in the first half hour here. I think it is dry again at the moment, but Villa 1, West Ham 0, and Villa Park in good voice. Throw in for Cash to take for Villa into the West Ham penalty area. It's headed out to the far side. That's volleyed away. Tielemans heads it back into the edge of the area. Comes back. Tielemans himself shoots low, and that was not too far wide. Areola diving down to his left, and actually the ball rebounded off the hoardings and straight back to the goalkeeper on the ground. Yeah,
lovely strike from Tielemans. We know that he's got that ability to pick the ball up and get shots away. Just drags it ever so slightly. Areola was at full stretch down to his left-hand side. I think he had it covered. I think he would have got there and saved it had it been on target. But Villa finding it a little bit more difficult now to cut through West Ham, whereas in the early stages of the game it looked like they cut through them at will. At every opportunity they came forward, and I just wonder whether that change when Kudus trying to match up with Luca Digne and also track Tielemans at times, that's made a little bit of a difference, because down this left-hand side it was far too easy.
Both Premiership matches are over now. Bristol won 55-35 in the end against Newcastle, and if you just switched on, 23-32 Bath won at Sale. Just as I was looking at that, Stephen, who was that with the pass?
Tielemans just splits the midfield of West Ham again, and that's what you feel if they can split that midfield two of Souček and Alvarez. Alvarez so often wants to try and pinch the ball, and he tried to pinch that one as it went into Bailey. Bailey drifted inside and picked the pass up, and then couldn't quite find his teammate in Watkins, who made another good run forward, but that is the ball that really hurts West Ham.
He's very settled now, Tielemans, isn't he, in this role under Unai Emery?
Yeah, oh no, Mings is down. That's a concern.
He's caught by Kudus. He was just playing the ball away, Tyrone Mings, and as he did so, Kudus came in with a challenge, and I think it was like a block tackle, was it not?
Yeah, it was, but I just felt he caught him a little bit late, John.
And Mings has gone down.
And he's holding his knee, which is the concern.
This is a worry. He's holding his left knee. And Mings lying on his left side. The medical people are quickly on, and we've just seen a replay, and it was, you know, Kudus came in, and it was, you know, it was 50-50 on the ball, but just a twist.
I think it was knee on knee, but he almost twisted his knee as well. I think just because of his history, that's what you're concerned about when it is Tyrone Mings.
Well, everyone who knows anything about Tyrone Mings will be aware of what he went through, and he is in some pain here. It has to be said, and I was there actually at the start of last season at St James's Park, when he originally injured his knee and was out from the August of last season until the October of this season. And as I mentioned a little earlier, this is the longest run that he's had in the team since he's come back, this being his 6th consecutive start. And let's just hope that it's not as serious as it looks. He is now sitting up on it, but they're still examining him very carefully, and he's now sitting upright, so he's not flat down on the ground anymore.
Yeah, I just don't think they'll no, he's gone back down, John. I just don't think they'll take a risk. I think they'll make sure that he's absolutely fine.
Well, Pau Torres is on the Aston Villa injured list at the moment. He's out with an ankle problem, and again he is just now sitting up again, but I think it looks as though movement is being made, and I just saw a shot of wherever Unai Emery is sitting. I think he's up behind us somewhere in front of the row of hospitality boxes, and I think he's been in communication with those who are down on the bench, and it would look as though a change perhaps is going to be made.
Oh, he's wincing here, John.
Okay.
They're doing tests on his leg, and we've got the TV pictures in front of us, and he's wincing when they're testing it. It's just not worth the gamble. Just get yourself off, get it scanned, make sure that there's no lasting damage. But he does not look comfortable at all.
Well, they've got Bogart on the bench, the young. Well, he can play in midfield, or he can play as a central defender. So he could be the optional. I don't actually see anyone stripping off yet. Mings is up on his feet now. The whole end applauds. He's walking away, which has to be a good sign. You know, there's no stretcher needed. He's able to get to his feet. I think they're still thinking about it, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the concern when you've had an ACL is that if there is any doubt, you'd rather get it scanned, make sure that you're not going to come back on, and if there's a slight bit of damage in it and you come back on and you feel okay and then you do something else, that is a major problem. I know the crowd are cheering, but it doesn't help, because you're thinking, I just want to get back on the pitch and show that I'm okay.
They applauded down there in that corner, way over to our right, because he had a little trot, didn't he? He had a little jog down to the corner flag. Now he's turned and he's had a little jog again, but now Tyrone Mings is just sort of leaning forward, hands on his knees.
I'm not a physio, John, but I just love them to take it out of his hands.
Yeah, to me that looks like he's not absolutely sure.
And if you're not sure, don't take the gamble.
Yeah, and you can understand why as well, can't you? Because of everything that he's been through.
Absolutely.
So Villa are playing with 10 men just for the time being as play resumes again. Aston Villa are leading by 1-0. The early goal from Jacob Ramsey, a well-taken goal, and Mings is being allowed back onto the field. There's the cheer. Well, that is a great relief.
He's limping, John.
Yeah, he's just stopped. He's just stretched his leg again there.
Off. Please, just go off.
He's straightened his left leg. Yeah, and just watching again, he's leaning. He's putting his hand on his knee. He's flexing his left knee. He's trying to get moving again, but play continues with Ramsey just down in front of us. Ramsey Forward towards Watkins. Does well in between two West Ham players to find Ramsey again. Ramsey holds off Kudus. Still Ramsey. Trofal comes in with a challenge, fouls him, and it's a free kick. And Tyrone Mings, just to look back to him on the halfway line, the coaching staff are...
No, I think he wants a ball. He just wants to pass a ball. I think he's just to see how it is, but I just think well,
they're all there. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Villa staff. Now the fourth official is trying to herd them back into the technical area. Fourth official is Ruben Ricardo, but you know, you have to. I think you've got to consider what they're trying to do.
Exactly,
here.
yeah.
And it's all about the players' welfare, isn't it? Tyrone Mings. So it's a free kick. It's like a short corner. It's in the West Ham right back area. Tielemans is waiting to take it. Tyrone Mings has actually gone up there, but he's still
holding his knee. He was looking at it then for a while, John.
So he's up for the set piece, standing on the edge of the 6-yard box, standing up tall. Tielemans, Mings now with the movement. Tielemans plays it into the back post. It's headed down and wide.
It's just pulled up again.
Konsa with the header.
They've really got a decision to make here, because he's just pulled up again, but it's a lovely floated ball into that back post area, and Ollie Watkins who gets up at the back post, fractions wide of that far post, but under a little bit of pressure from Edson Alvarez.
It's a good chance, that.
It's a really good chance. It's a great leap from Ollie Watkins, it really is.
Yep, but headed it wide, couldn't get it on target. This is the first time Mings has been involved in a challenge now with Paqueta, and he's all right, seems okay. He's come through that. The ball's out of play for a throw-in for Sofal. 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Oh, he's gone again, John. He's just caught the ball.
Yeah, and as it was thrown,
he went to jump, John,
and he couldn't.
And
he couldn't get off the ground, and he caught the ball, so it's a handball. And Mings, well, you can hear this. There's sympathetic applause. Everyone knows now he's going to have to leave the field, and Mings is on his own. He's standing, he's put his hands in front of his face, he's bowed over. Morgan Rogers comes across and consoles him, and Ollie Watkins too, and Tyrone Mings now is doubled right over with his hands on his knees. A member of the coaching staff is there. Ollie Watkins has got his arm around his shoulder, he's pulled up his shirt over his face. You know, there are tears here, because Tyrone Mings, I think, is
he's done something serious, John.
It's a serious problem.
But this is the thing, get him off earlier, and if there is a slight tear, then maybe you can do something about it. Or you leave him on and it causes more of a problem. It's just silly. And like I say, John, you've got to take it out of his hands. I know it's not a nice situation, but you've got to deal with that.
Yeah, it's almost like he was refusing to believe it.
Yeah.
That he could have done damage to his knee again, and now he has left the field. Now he's walking down in front of us. He's got his shirt again pulled, the bottom of his shirt pulled right up over his face, head down, and even though people are applauding and giving him support, he's just head down. He is inconsolable as West Ham take this free kick. Villa playing with 10 men here, still in the penalty area, but it bounces down and away off Souček, and actually the offside flag was up against him, and it's a free kick. And Tyrone Mings again looking down to my left. He does now reach the mouth of the tunnel and turns. He was able to walk away, didn't have to be stretchered away or anything like that. He was able to walk off the field and down the touchline. And well, we'll just have to hope it's not as serious as
I know. I'm absolutely devastated, John, because I've been in that position myself where I've broke my leg numerous times, and you just know that work that you've got to do behind the scenes. And once you get back from an injury, you think, God, that was difficult, but now I'm back. And then when you do it again, you think, I've got to go through all that again. And whether you can do it mentally, that's the difficult thing.
And Ian Maatsen has come on.
Yeah, they've gone to a 3, John.
And they've moved Digne across.
Yeah, I don't know whether they've gone to a 3 or whether they put Digne as a left centre back. We're just trying to see them when they get on the ball a little bit more comfortably.
Yeah, at the moment it does look as though Digne is playing in the Mings role as the left-sided central defender. So Maatsen is on at left back. Tyrone Mings having to go off with less than 10 minutes to go of the first half, but we'll have a considerable amount of time added on now at the end of this first half, where Aston Villa lead West Ham by 1-0. If you haven't heard, if you've been out and about, the big news earlier in the Premier League, the final score in London was Tottenham 1, Leicester 2. Leicester scored 2 goals in 4 minutes at the start of the second half, Vardy and El Khanous, and Tottenham couldn't draw level, so Leicester are out of the bottom 3. And as we heard during the commentary from Alistair Bruce Ball, who spotted a sign, a banner that was put up towards the end of the match, which read "Time for Change." And we have already heard from Ange Postecoglou. I suspect we'll hear part of that, if not all of it, again at half-time here on 5 Live. And as Maatsen now is dispossessed, but the ball bounces away off Kudus, and it's behind for what is given as a goal kick. Although West Ham felt the final touches off the Villa man, but it's a Villa goal kick.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there from Lucadinha and Maatsen. Maatsen perhaps not quite up to speed, and then he gets his pocket picked by Kudus. It was the right decision. It was Kudus who had the last touch, but interesting now that they have settled into that back four. Poor from Lucadinha.
Dinha's given it away to Wan-Bissaka. This is just outside the Villa penalty area. Alvarez trying to go around the outside. The cross is deflected back to Souček. And Souček in on the challenge with Dinha, who did well there actually against the Czech. And then a little flick from Paquetá, just tried to get a touch on to send it on for Soler to run onto, and he very nearly got there, but Cash was there first for Villa, and now they bring it forward towards the halfway line. Tielemans thought for a moment he was going to get into trouble there, and then Rodgers rides the challenge from Soler and gives it back to Tielemans, who is dispossessed by Kudus. He dwelt on the ball there, Tielemans, he stayed down, but no free kick given by referee Banks. So West Ham continue to attack down the left-hand side, dragged back by Lucas Paquetá. Left-footed ball all the way across to the right-hand side. Tielemans is still down, but it's not a head injury. Wan-Bissaka, Sofal now crossing. That's come off the back of Maatsen. Kudus in the area, double deflection, still Kudus. And then in the end, behind off Kudus, who was being leaned into by Rodgers. And it's a goal kick for Aston Villa, who lead 1-0. And Tielemans now is on his feet.
Yeah, he was holding his knee when he went down, but it was a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge between the two players. I thought it was just a strong challenge from Kudus. I didn't think it was a foul. But Tielemans went down holding his knee, and you're worried that there might be another serious injury, but he's now back on his feet and he's back in that midfield position.
So the sky's darkening above us. I'm not sure they've been particularly light at any point today here in Birmingham. Goal kick by Martinez, free kick given for the foul by Bailey, the challenge by Bailey on Emerson, and West Ham get it moving again. West Ham, only their 4th match under Graham Potter's management, played 3, won 1, lost 2. So we're beaten here in his first match in the FA Cup on the Friday night, as the ball is played back to Areola, who just was able to find the pass out to Kilman, who evaded Bailey.
Wrong player closing him down, John. Bailey wimped out of that. He did not fancy that. He saw the size of Kilman and he thought, I don't fancy me chances of that. Really loose challenge, and there's a lot of frustration down on the Aston Villa bench in front of us. They were furious that he didn't go into that fully committed.
Then they won another free kick, West Ham, so in possession and playing it to Wan-Bissaka, then into Paquetá, and now Wan-Bissaka again, and after a very sluggish start to the match here, during which time Jacob Ramsey gave Villa the lead, West Ham have come back into it quite strongly, and Villa have lost Mings, and now Paquetá's won a free kick. That's been disputed by the Villa supporters. Back it goes into the centre circle. Kilman now to Cresswell, over there towards the left-hand side. Alvarez flicks it infield. Soler out to the right-hand side to Wan-Bissaka, chests it down. Wan-Bissaka takes on, beats Maatsen. He's on his left foot. That wasn't convincing. However, he found the ball to Alvarez, who pulled it down, chested it down, shot over the crossbar, but was offside in any case.
He wound his left foot up there, didn't he, Wan-Bissaka? It took an age for him to cross the ball. I think he thought about shooting as he came in on that left foot, and he thought, actually, there's a better option at the back post. But Alvarez should never be offside. He's looking right along the line, and he's a good 2 yards offside as he chests it down and fires it over the bar.
I think for anyone who's played football, who's listening, and is very right-footed. Imagine yourself when you find yourself in a position where you can only play it with your left foot, and what you do and how you feel and how you look. That's how Wan-Bissaka looked there. 1-0 Aston Villa lead, but West Ham have actually really grown into the game. Ball over on the far side, 1 or 2 empty light blue seats in the lower tier of the Doug Ellis stand.
Do you know what they've done really well, John? They've used the width extremely well, because Villa's so narrow in the way that they play. They've moved the ball quickly from one side to the other, and that has freed up the wing backs of Wan-Bissaka and Emerson.
And all the way back to Areola it goes. So yes, lost Graham Potter's first match in the FA Cup, but then had the good win against Fulham at home when they were 2-0 up, 3-1 up, eventually won it 3-2, and then rather disappointingly for them, lost 2-0 at home to Crystal Palace, and that was the match when Mavropanos was sent off when they were already 1-0 down. So that's the brief story so far under Graham Potter since his appointment. And here 1-0 down, but there are signs of encouragement, and it's forward for Wan-Bissaka to chase, but he was in an offside position when it was played over the top, so it's a free kick to Villa. And I think with everything that's happened, and the Mings injury, and the way that West Ham have come back into this, I think Villa, with Unai Emery having to sit up in the stand, banned from the touchline for this match, I think they'll be very grateful to get in leading 1-0.
Yeah, I think they will. I think there's been a little bit of pressure from West Ham, and the way that they've played, the way they've come back into this game, Villa haven't been able to move the ball as freely, and like you say, John, with everything that's happened, I'm sure they'll be delighted. I think the concern is that when they do go in and they speak to Tyrone Mings, or they find out how he's feeling, they can almost make the players even more down. You've got to pick yourself up to come back out in that second half.
So there we are, 6 minutes of added time has been announced at the end of this first half, and you have to assume that Tyrone Mings certainly wouldn't be involved against Celtic on Wednesday night, so that's another problem for Unai Emery, who will need to solve it as West Ham, in this added time, win the ball back from Maatsen, but Maatsen does well, actually challenges Wan-Bissaka back. Ball out of play, throw-in taken, Souček, Wan-Bissaka, back to Souček, and Souček finds Cresswell in the centre circle. The veteran, I think we can call him a veteran now, can't we, Aaron Cresswell? At his age, his ripe age of 35 years old. Here is Soufal now. Soufal carries it over the halfway line, and then short pass to Kudus. Now to Wan-Bissaka again on the right. Kudus, who's being challenged by Tielemans. He went down, no free kick given. Ball's still on the field, and the referee says he spotted a handball in there by Kudus. So it's a free kick to Villa, 15 yards inside their own half.
I think one thing you could say, John, is apart from that first sort of 7 or 8 minutes from West Ham, it's been a really impressive display in the way that they've managed the ball, the way that they've retained possession, they've worked this Aston Villa team. My only concern will be, and it's something that's been labelled at Graham Potter in the past, is are they clinical enough up front? Do they create enough opportunities? And that's probably what's been lacking in this game for them so far.
Free kick for Villa. Maatsen rather lazily hits the pass downfield, bouncing ball. Alvarez and Camara together, and then Camara is in on Soler now, and it's the Villa man who comes out with the ball. Cash makes himself available with a burst forward, and then gets as he cuts the ball back, Soler arrives. They take a quick free kick after the foul on Cash into the penalty area to Rodgers. Rodgers trying to work something, but he's got West Ham men all round him. However, he's done well. Tielemans then with the pass back for Cash. Cash pulls it across. One defender goes down, hooked away by Cresswell. Maatsen with a shot, and that's blocked by the back of Soufal, who doesn't react. And then a shot from Digne from 25 yards plus. That's blocked as well. Hooked forward by Konza. Won back for West Ham by Paqueta. And Paqueta puts his foot on the ball and is nudged over by Cash. I thought that might have been a free kick. It's not given, and then that surely is a free kick. Yes, it is for Paqueta's tackle back on Cash. Oh, was it Alvarez? Alvarez's tackle back on Cash. And West Ham are incensed they didn't get a free kick of their own, and then Alvarez took matters into his own hands.
Yeah, chaotic couple of minutes. Paqueta went down. I didn't think it was a foul on him, and then Matty Cash just drives away, and then I actually thought Alvarez won the ball as he came in, but does he take the man first? He just takes Matty Cash's leg ever so slightly first, but yeah, interesting decision from Peter Banks.
Yeah, he did get the ball first there.
Yeah.
But he did get the man as well, and I think probably the force that he went in there.
Quite possibly,
Alvarez.
but carry on. Play on, John.
Play on. Free kick for Villa. Oh, that's wasted by Digne. That's not like him, is it? He's got that all wrong, the French international, and it's through, all the way through. Promising situation there, set piece. Villa are good on set pieces, aren't they? And I think only Arsenal have scored more set pieces in the Premier League than them this season, but their set pieces are generally better than that.
Yeah, they are, and it was on the right-hand side, and he just tries to reverse a dink pass, and you think of the amount of rain we've had here. Very difficult to allow that ball to settle and stay in play. Overhits it, wasted opportunity.
Just seeing a shot of Unai Emery, you know, the injury to Tyrone Mings will, I'm sure, be at the front of his mind to get and find out exactly what the situation is. But he's leaning back, he looks very comfortable, doesn't he, as Paquetá is fouled by Tielemans, and Paquetá is saying, that's another foul on me, and actually the yellow card comes out for Tielemans. Not sure that's the worst challenge I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think he kicks through the back of him, doesn't he? Really frustrated with the skill from Paquetá. I mean, he has got such amazing control when he's in and around players, and that ability to drop the shoulder and shift the ball from one foot to the next. I think it was Tielemans had almost an arm around the neck as well, and then he just kicks through the back of him.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's a yellow card.
Yeah, yellow card. Yeah, as now Paquetá now, just when West Ham are lining up to take this free kick, with Villa holding a high line.
He's holding his ribs, John. So this will be interesting to see what's actually happened here.
He's collapsed to the ground, and he had Villa players around him, and maybe something's gone on there. Maybe it has.
I mean, the way he's gone down, I'm waiting for an 8 count. I mean, looks like he's being winded, and he's took a punch to the ribs, but he can still talk to the referee. Make your mind up.
Yeah, and one of the West Ham players is leaning over him. Oh, and he's down again. He's down. Well, that contact must have been quite severe on him, and all the while, I imagine that the video assistant referee, Paul Tierney it is, will be having a look at this. They're just showing us a replay. Digne.
Wow.
It was Digne, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
He sort of leaned into him.
Well, they were just coming together, and he sort of pushed his arm back into his chest with his elbow, but my word, if you're going down for that, and you're pathetic.
Now VAR are checking for a possible red card against Digne, who Digne backs into Paquetá, who's standing up, and they bounce off one another, and then there is a movement with Digne's left arm, but from our view here, the contact from, I mean, he does.
Carry on.
Yeah,
thank goodness for that, John.
Yeah, they are saying we don't want to take it that any further. And now a Villa player has ended up on the ground with sole foul. Matty Cash hits the turf, and referee Banks is saying, "Look, just get on with it." And now he's actually called across Cash and Souček, and just tells them to, to have a word with themselves. It was Souček who actually ran into Cash and lifted his hands, pushed him over. This is all outside the penalty area. So off we go then. Free kick is taken. Camera gets head to it. Shot low by Kudus, blocked inside the 6-yard box, and then the follow-up wide from Paquetá on the edge of the box. Couldn't get it on target. Hit a bouncing shot wide. It's behind. It's a goal kick. And it remains Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0.
Yeah, Tielemans does extremely well. I don't think it's going in. I think the Villa fans think it might be going in. He just drags the shot, Kudus, as he shoots, and then Tielemans is retreating towards his own goal, but I think it was going well wide. But the game's come to life, hasn't it? A little bit of controversy in and around the penalty area. Now we've got some little bit of ill temper between the two players.
Yeah, it's that old thing, isn't it, Stephen? Two teams that played each other less than 16 days ago, and so it's that familiarity breeds contempt, doesn't it? Here's Wan-Bissaka against Maatsen down the right-hand side, then the pass forward to Kudus, and Kudus rides the challenge that came in from Camara, gets back to his feet, falls into the penalty area, now it bounces away for Digne clips it forward towards Watkins, who I think was being held by
Digne's been done in the corner, John.
Oh, Digne off the ball, Digne is on the floor. And that was long after he cleared it, so what's happened there, I don't know.
I think it's Alvarez. Alvarez has put a challenge in, John, and then he's ran away from the situation. So as Luca Digne's gone to play the ball down the line, Alvarez has left a little bit on him. But so often what we see is when players go to clear that ball down the line, there's going to be contact. It's just how much contact there is.
And the referee's attention was drawn to this by some supporters in the Holt end.
Oh, there's nothing in that.
Absolutely nothing in that.
What is going on here today?
The two of them just collided.
Well, Alvarez goes to ground, and then Luca Digne clears the ball. Alvarez gets up, and his momentum takes him onto his back, and then he falls off his back onto his hip. You'd think he'd been shot. I mean, the way he lay on the ground, I was thinking, oh, he's done something here. This is quite serious.
Honestly. Well, there's the half-time whistle. That was pantomime, wasn't it?
I thought we'd finished all that.
Those last few minutes of the half. For goodness sake. Anyway, there we are, half-time. Aston Villa are leading through the early, well-worked Jacob Ramsey goal. The Villa loss of Tyrone Mings was one of the central episodes of that first half, and obviously we wait for further news on him. And West Ham actually grew into the game.
They did. It was a difficult start for them, and they could have found themselves a couple of goals down, but for a Kilman interception. But then they did find themselves a goal down, a cracking finish from Jacob Ramsey after a lovely move. But West Ham, they changed things a little bit tactically, started to grow into the game, and they've dominated possession on large parts of this first half, but just don't have that instinct in front of goal, that opportunity that they've created. And Martinez in the Villa goal has nothing to save.
Yep. And for anyone who's worried about any of those players who went down, quite a number of them towards the end of the first half, put it this way, I don't think it'll be long before they're sitting up and joking with nurses. Half-time, it is Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0.
Stephen, there's another side to this, which is, I mean, Digne, for example, Digne's going crazy at Paquetá going down. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. 2 minutes later, he is doing the same thing. But also, I just think, especially when a Villa player has got what looks like a serious injury today, that's not a great look, is it?
It's just not a great look in the game in a whole. It's getting worse and worse. And the big thing is that how many cameras do we have around the ground? Do they not expect to get picked up on? It's just pathetic at times.
Boubacar camera is on the pitch as well. That's another camera.
Well, that was almost as ridiculous as the diving.
Yeah.
Right, thank you very much, you two. Right, Aston Villa 1, West Ham United half-time then. If we hear anything about Tyrone Mings' injury, we'll obviously tell you, but it didn't look very good, and he went off the pitch, and there were a couple of tears there, so obviously we hope for the best for Tyrone Mings. We've got a lot to do before second half commentary, including we'll hear from Philippe Clement after Rangers beat Dundee United, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Ange Postecoglou after Leicester won 2-1 at Tottenham Hotspur, Thomas Frank and Oliver Glasner after Brentford won 2-1 at Crystal Palace, and Sonia Bonpastor, her Chelsea side now 9 points clear at the top of the Women's Super League after their victory today. So a lot to fit in after the news with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Palestinian groups have rejected President Trump's suggestion that more than 1 million people could move to Arab countries from Gaza. Hamas says people won't leave their homeland. But Ohad Tal from the Religious Zionist Party, which is part of Israel's coalition government, agrees with the president.
He wants to solve the problem and not to keep fooling ourselves as we've all done, that maybe if we will build high fences and we will improve their economy and then that will bring stability and prosperity. Well, that has been proven that it doesn't work. What President Trump has done in the past and is doing now is to think outside of the box.
Lebanon's health ministry says Israeli gunfire has killed at least 22 people trying to return to their homes in the south of the country. The UN says the situation's worrying. Israel says it wants to be sure that Hezbollah can't regroup in southern Lebanon. The Palestinian group Islamic Jihad says an agreement has been reached for the release of an Israeli civilian hostage called Arbel Yehud. The source says she'll be freed on Friday in exchange for the release of 30 Palestinian prisoners. There's been no confirmation yet from the Israeli side. Greater Manchester Police have arrested a 19-year-old man on suspicion of attempted murder after a vehicle was driven at a police officer in Cheadle. The force describes the incident as truly shocking and says the female officer is in hospital with serious injuries. The Treasury says proposed changes to planning rules in England will unclog the system and drive economic growth. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, has hinted she'll support a third runway at Heathrow Airport. But the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, says the government's damaging growth.
They're making a lot of mistakes. I heard Rachel sit here and say certain things that are simply not true. She's not bringing any stability to the economic finances, saying she'd signed off airports which were already in train. She actually stopped airport development in her constituency.
And the southwest of England has seen winds of 80 miles an hour as Storm Hermine passes over the UK. Various yellow weather warnings for wind and rain are still in place across Northern Ireland and Wales and much of England.
On BBC iPlayer.
Who's the traitor?
I am 100% faithful.
Everyone's just selfish. Everyone's just out for themselves.
What game do you think we're playing?
The new series of The Traitors.
Am I bad?
Watch all episodes on BBC iPlayer. This is 5 Live Sports.
With Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
OK, half-time in the Premier League. Aston Villa 1, West Ham United 0. Second half commentary on the way. By the time we get there, you'll have had all of the day's football scores and plenty of reaction. We'll start with Tottenham, beaten 2-1 at home by Leicester City. Spurs have now just won one of their last 11 matches in the Premier League. They've lost 4 in a row. They are 15th in the table. With injured players expected to come back in the next couple of weeks, does Ange Postecoglou think he'll have that long to turn it round?
Me? Oh, mate, who knows, mate? I mean, who knows? I reckon there's probably a fair chunk that will say no. But, you know, when you're a manager of a football club, it's a very kind of... You can be very vulnerable and isolated. I don't feel that. I really feel like this group of players, not for me, but they're giving everything for the club. I've got a group of staff that's really committed, so I kind of focus on that. And, you know, my role within that is, like I said, to try and support these players. You know, I think I can even see in training that when, you know, the guys who are come back in, it's just going to give everyone a lift. And, you know, as I keep saying to the players, there's still a fantastic opportunity this season to really make an impact. And I know we can. But in terms of, you know, your question, well, what is there anything I can say about that is going to change anything that I need to do tomorrow morning? Nothing.
Ange Postecoglou. Ben on 85058. I'm a Spurs fan. We are in a relegation battle. I still believe Ange can turn this around once people return from injury and the squad is reinforced. Hannah, with or without injury, Spurs should be beating Leicester. Fair play, though, to Leicester. What a result for them. Steve says, this isn't on Ange. The players capitulated twice in 3 minutes. How on earth can you base tactics around that shocking play from some of our key players? 08085 909 693. Spurs fans, the lines are open for 606, which is at the later time of 7 o'clock tonight. So once we're done at Villa Park, we'll stay on air and get some more reaction to the day's football. Sure, they'd love to hear from Leicester fans as well. 17th in the table, outside the relegation zone after that victory, moving above Wolves, who drop into the bottom 3. Here's the Leicester boss, Ruud van Nistelrooy.
You can imagine the excitement, the relief after an away win, important away win, a difficult away win after all what we've been through over the last weeks, on the pitch, off the pitch, etc., etc. I think we stayed together, we kept working, we kept our heads down and work hard, believing that our luck will change. And today, I think the performance was strong. It was a lot of heart there, a lot of spirit, and I think it changed our luck.
And what did you say at half time? 1-0 down, and within 4 minutes you're 2-1 up.
Yeah, no, I felt today after we got down 1-0, I saw the reaction of the team, and I saw a team that took the ball and started playing and didn't change in the approach and in emotionally either. And I was calm there, and we created the James Justin chance after they scored. So there was a great reaction at half time. They were calm. They were believing in the game plan, the way we approached it, the way things were going, and they just went out and carried on. and we got the momentum with the Jamie Vardy goal, and we pushed through after that, and pressing forward, and have some high regains, and scored the second from that, and that changed the course of the game.
Could you sense today that Tottenham were vulnerable? They had a crowd that was edgy and nervous.
We know what it's like when you're in a difficult place. You lose games at home when you go behind and the crowd goes against you, and it makes it more difficult. We know they played on Thursday. We know they have a lot of injuries, and when we stay in the game, we can. Because we had a full week and we have a full squad available, so we saw definitely possibilities here today, and that belief was there. It was visible.
And psychologically, what does it do to everybody to be out of the bottom three?
It's a moment that is also positive, but it's a moment very short, because next week is another weekend of Premier League football. I'm not so looking at the table in that sense, and we cannot draw any conclusions from it. It is an extra bit. You got yourself out of there, and we only have to make us stronger to keep going back to work next week and prepare the Everton game, and believe in what we're doing and make sure we stay out of the bottom three.
Ruud van Nistelrooy with Rob Nothman. Brentford picked up just their second away win of the season. They beat Crystal Palace 2-1 at Selhurst Park. Brian and Burmo opened the scoring with a retaken penalty. Here's Thomas Frank with Aaron Paul.
Thomas, it wasn't pretty at times, but a win's a win.
Yeah, but you know, I think the circumstances didn't help. It was difficult to play out there today for both teams. I think it was a really good, solid performance all the way around. A very even game. I predicted that before. It was as even as I thought. I thought actually we were slightly on top throughout the game, you know, or not every minute, but I thought we defended extremely well. We gave basically nothing away until their goal. So really happy with that. I thought we created quite a few good, dangerous situations. And it's one of these even games that we actually sometimes have lacked to have the cutting edge. So I'm really happy with that. And I thought actually today, even game that we won, but I thought actually, I think that was fair.
Sometimes you need a bit of luck as well. Mark Flecken's made some really good saves out there for you, but the penalty on Brian and Burmo missing it. Once upon a time, that wouldn't have been retaken.
Yeah.
But it was, and you managed to get a crucial goal.
Thank God we got VAR, huh? So, yeah, we, of course, in that situation, we got a little margin with us, which I'm pleased with, and it was a correct decision.
That is Thomas Frank. Small positive for Palace, a debut goal for their new teenage signing, Roman Esse, who's come in from Millwall. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers came from behind to win 3-1 against Dundee United at Tannadice. They're still 10 points behind leaders Celtic, but they're now 13 clear of United in third. Here is Rangers boss Philippe Clement with Jonathan Sutherland.
Philippe, congratulations on the victory today. So much talk about Rangers' away form in the Premiership this season. Did today feel like a statement?
Yes, I think so. What we need to continue doing, making statements. So a very mature performance, a very good performance for sure in the second half also for my team. And yeah, a lot of braveness on the ball and a lot of power in the duels also, what's necessary against a good Dundee United who gave everything, and they deserve to be in third position this season because they showed a lot of quality the last couple of months.
And the big talking point right at the end there, the sending off of Mohamed Diomande. Have you had a chance to look back? The pictures look very inconclusive in terms of contact, in terms of what happened. What was your view?
I look back now, so in the live view, Dio gets pushed away. He gets a small reaction with his hand without touching any opponent, nothing. So clearly the VR thought also it's not a red card. Otherwise they don't ask the referee to come to watch the screen. But the referee stick to the screen, to his decision. And the only thing we can do now is to appeal, because if you give red cards for this, then you need to give red cards 3-4 times for every game in the league. I saw much worse things, more severe things, where there were yellow cards given. So I totally don't understand this red card.
Philippe Clement there with some seagulls. In the WSL, Chelsea beat Arsenal 1-0 to go 9 points clear at the top. Here's manager Sonia Bonpastor with Joe Curry.
How big a statement is that in terms of the title race?
I mean, you know, we will always keep our mentality. There are a lot of games to be played. You never know what happened on football. Of course, if we keep the right mentality, we are in a really, really good position. But I want to make sure my players are working hard in every game, and we want to finish as much high as we can at the end.
Finally, Naomi Girma is now officially a Chelsea player. Now you can talk to us about her. When are we likely to see her play her first match?
We don't exactly know yet, just because she was in the off-season, you know, in US, and also she has a big noodle in her calf. But yeah, we'll be working with her and making sure she will be fit to play with us when she can.
Sonia Bonpastor. Other scores: Crystal Palace 2, Spurs 3, Leicester 2, Liverpool 1 and West Ham 2, Everton 0. Manchester United play Brighton at 6:45 in the Gallagher Premiership. Leaders Bath beat Sale Sharks 32-23. Second place Bristol Bears won 55-35 against Newcastle Falcons. And the world number one Yannick Sinner has defended his Australian Open title in Melbourne with a straight sets victory over Alexander Zverev. You are up to date and we're ready to go at Villa Park. John.
Yes, second half about to begin. Aston Villa leading West Ham by 1-0. I hope we've seen an end to all of the various antics that were taking place out there at the end of the first half. And Villa in front through the early goal from Jacob Ramsey. No further changes at half-time. There's the whistle. West Ham get us underway with Carlos Soler playing it all the way back to goalkeeper Areola, who hits the white shirts of West Ham with the claret shorts and the claret socks. And a West Ham player has already gone down after that first coming together of the second half. And I think it's Digne who was down on a couple of occasions and involved in some of those things that were going on at the end of the first half. It's Digne who is down after he was caught by Paqueta.
Yeah, he stood on his foot, and that's why it's so sore. It's right on the top of his foot, purely accidental. Nothing in it at all, but they hurt, they really do, so that'll be a painful one for Luca Digne.
That's Stephen Warnock, Premier League defender with Aston Villa, here at this great ground, as well as Blackburn and Liverpool, went to the World Cup with England, and Digne has stayed down.
Yeah, it will be sore, it'll be really sore, that, John. Do you know what you said then? You said this great ground.
Yes.
I've been back here a few times now, and sometimes you don't realise how lucky you are as a player. This is a phenomenal place to play your football. It really is.
You know, the first thing today, our engineer, Owain, who's just to our left, when he arrived, first thing he said was, lovely to be here at the nicest looking ground in the league. And I think he's not far off with that.
Yeah.
Craven Cottage looks great. But this place looks very, very special.
It's much changed as well since I've been here. There's so much work going on behind the scenes. It's been incredible, the infrastructure, the work that the ownership have tried to do, and how they've tried to change this and modernise it as well.
Yeah, I think as Digne's okay, he's back on his feet, he's running to the halfway line, he's going to come on. I mean, it's a sight to see for anyone who's never been to Villa Park and come to the ground, to see the outside of the Holt End with the steps going up and the way that the design is on the old-fashioned frontage. As ball is played forward, and Watkins collides. They come together, Watkins with the West Ham defender Kilman, and the two of them are lying next to each other. And again, we've got a stoppage here as the medical people race onto the field. Now, whether it was actually a clash of heads or not, but certainly bodies came together.
Yeah, Watkins is up on his feet, but it was just one of those collisions where both players go for the ball, but they're almost running in different directions when they go for it, and they clash together. Watkins has bounced straight back up now, but the concern is that Kilman's still down. I think it was a really awkward fall for both players, and that was more so what was the issue. It was almost like they landed horizontally flat onto the backs, and that was an issue for them.
And as you say, they came together from different directions, and they ended up falling on the ground, almost like, you know, if you're top to tail with someone in bed. It was it's exactly like that, next to each other, upside down. And Kilman now is actually getting to his feet. and it looks as though he's okay. And we are now seeing a replay of what happened, and I think there might have been an arm as the two of them jumped from Watkins into Kilman, but he's okay. They're both all right. The various medical staff, some have left on the far side, some are still running off towards this side of the pitch. And what was a match that was extremely stop-start at the end of the first half, the second half has started in similar fashion with the stoppages for that injury to Digne and this one here. And Kilman and Watkins, I'm pleased to say, are going to be able to continue.
Well, I think the interesting thing here is what everyone was wondering what was going on. It wasn't a foul. He didn't give a foul for the incident, so he's saying drop ball and we'll let that happen. Now I'm just wondering what Peter Banks is looking for. He wants Max Kilman.
Yeah, he's calling Kilman across.
Whether he wants him to go in for the drop ball with.
Why? Why does it have to be Kilman?
Ramsey. No, he wants him off the pitch.
Oh, wants him off the pitch.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, he wants him to leave the pitch because he's been treated, whereas Watkins got straight back up.
Yeah, received treatment. So Kilman is off for 30 seconds. And Villa take the free kick as they attack towards the Holt end, and Maatsen, the first half substitute for Tyrone Mings, wins a corner, just plays it off the defender, it bounces behind. Villa were going to take a quick corner, but they've not done that.
Well, they need to, because Kilman's going to get himself back on the pitch.
He
Take
is now
it quicker.
back on the field. That was...
Oh, you've wasted the chance.
Should have taken the quick corner. And whether that was because the whistle hadn't come, I don't know. Digne receives it. He plays it over the top. There's too much on that. It's all the way through for a goal kick. Right, well, I hope the second half is going to improve after all of that. Aston Villa, who have got Martinez in goal. Back four now of Cash, Konza, Digne and Maatsen, after Mings had to go off with a knee injury, which was one of the main stories of the first half. Tyrone Mings, we don't know yet. We'll bring you news of that when we can, as Konza knees the ball back to his goalkeeper Martinez.
Why is he not picking it up?
Who has passed it out to Konza, then back to Martinez and clears it away. Back pass?
No, it's off his knee.
Off his knee?
Off his knee, you can pick it up.
Can you?
Yeah. So as long as it's not played with your foot, you play with your knee, you can pick it up.
Do you know what? I've learned something there, Stephen.
I hope that's still true.
Kilman passing it out to the right-hand side as West Ham tried to come forward. Little ball in from the right, and then Kudus plays it all the way over here to Emerson. Emerson curls it. It took a deflection, actually, which took it to the edge of the box where Tielemans was able to head it forward and away for Aston Villa and Watkins. Now with the pass to Bailey, still inside their own half, Villa, and then Bailey goes for a long pass, which is overhit and bounces all the way through to Areola. The rest of the Aston Villa team, Camara and Tielemans in midfield with Rodgers, Bailey on the right, Ramsey on the left, and Watkins through the middle. John Duran among the substitutes amidst this talk that he might well move to West Ham or somewhere else this window, but he is on the bench for Villa, and frankly I think that they would be loath, Unai Emery, to lose him. Duran.
I think it'll be an interesting one with Malin coming into the club. Yeah. Who comes on today? What will that change look like?
West Ham, forward ball to Kudus. Kudus, who's over towards the right-hand side, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Tielemans stretches out a leg. Ball goes straight up in the air, and Digne is able to head it away to Wan-Bissaka. World Service are with us as Wan-Bissaka swings over across to the back post. Emerson across. Paqueta turns and shoots wide. Edge of the 6-yard box. It needed just an extra little bit of swivel from him, and as a result he shot wide of the far post.
Yeah, it was a lovely stand up to the back post by Wan-Bissaka, and it found a lot of space at that back post, and as it was played back into Paqueta, he spins, and what you would say about him is he's usually so calm. At this moment, just a tiny little panic, a little bit of overzealous in the way that he took the shot on, and that was a big opportunity for West Ham. That's the first opportunity that they've created in this game.
The West Ham team, as it started, Areola in goal, not Fabianski, who's a substitute. Both managers today have named 2 substitute goalkeepers, incidentally. That old manager's trick when the transfer window is open. I have to name 2 goalkeepers. I haven't got enough people. And then 3 central defenders, Sofal, Kilman and Cresswell, Wan-Bissaka and Emerson, Alvarez, Soler, Soucek, Paqueta and Kudus, with Paqueta for the most part playing as a kind of false 9, and here he is just down in front of us with got a great view of him as he wins this throw-in for West Ham. Cresswell to take this to Souček. Souček controls it, plays it with his left foot. Emerson heads it infield, headed forward by Alvarez. Soler, ball ricocheting around near the edge of the Villa penalty area, and it falls to Tielemans, who gives it to Maatsen, who passes it to the goal scorer, Ramsey. Ramsey weaving his way over there and eventually drawing the challenge and winning a throw-in almost right on the halfway line in front of the two-tier Doug Ellis stand, which has the famous commentary now. It used to be on the middle part of the stand to our left, but now it's right up there on the front of the gantry, the commentary from when Aston Villa won the European Cup and Peter With scored the goal, the Brian Moore commentary. Here's Camara as Villa lose possession, halfway inside their own half. Sofal, pass forward from him to Soler, and he rolls it into the path of Wan-Bissaka, who doesn't cross, just keeps possession, and then Sofal arrives, and Sofal's cross is chested goalwards and deflected into the path of Martinez, who's able to drop on it. Emerson had a chance there and really lacked conviction.
How's he not scored? I just don't understand how he's not scored. He was sort of 3 or 4 yards out.
I think he chested it goalwards rather than heading it. As Bailey now. Bailey forward for Villa to the edge of the box. The challenge comes in on him from Alvarez. Free kick given by referee Branks. Right on the edge of the box. That was a Bailey run out of last season's Leon Bailey, and he won the free kick.
Yeah, lovely couple of step overs and then draws the foul from Alvarez. I mean, Alvarez is incredible how he argues against a free kick against him. He's so he quite clearly sides down Leon Bailey in a dangerous position right on the edge of the box.
Alvarez just stands with his hands on his hips as West Ham try to organise themselves. Bailey's only just finally got to his feet now. Alvarez, the Mexican, captain of Mexico as well. So Aston Villa with this set-piece chance. It's about a stride outside of the penalty area towards the right, in between the D and the edge of the box. That's where it is. So Areola is lining up his wall. He's got his left hand, his glove on the post, and he's pointing up. And a 3-man wall at the moment, but it'll get bigger than that. I think probably a 5-man wall in the end. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Villa players talking about what they're going to do with this set piece.
It's interesting, John, because they have a trackman like they use in golf, and every position across the penalty box they practice day in, day out, and they have data as to which position suits certain players. So this won't be a case of no one knows what they're doing. It'll be a case of working out who it best suits between a couple of players, and it'll be Tielemans and Luca Digne who are now over the ball.
Yeah, they haven't got the trackman with them out on the pitch.
But it allows them to know what player is best suited to that situation, depending on where the opposition are.
So discussion is over, and it's going to be Digne or Tielemans. And 3 Villa players have joined the side of the West Ham wall. We are right behind the line of this. Villa already 1-0 up. Digne steps up. Digne curls it, but got underneath it and sent it actually probably a couple of yards over the top. And safely behind into the Holt end from a West Ham point of view.
Yeah, I wonder how Austin McPhee feels with Unai Emery not next to him. So every time a set piece goes wrong, he doesn't have that glare in the back of his head or next to him on the touchline.
Well, whenever we've seen a shot of Unai Emery, I've never seen him looking so relaxed, sitting up there in the comfy seats up behind us somewhere in front of the hospitality boxes. There was one shot of him sitting there. He was holding a piece of paper in front of his face with his hair swept back. I thought he looked like Peter O'Toole. As Villa break in the centre circle with Rodgers, but it bounces off as West Ham players converge on him from all directions, and West Ham have got it back on the edge of their own penalty area. Long and forward for West Ham. This is for Emerson to chase down the left-hand side. Goes for the early ball across, which I think was the right decision there. Konza was able to dive towards it, get his head on it, and actually Villa will try to bring it forward from the back. How nice to see an early cross.
Oh, it was the right decision. It was just a really good piece of defending from Konza. Had to get back and make that because Paqueta had made that run in behind and he looked like he was favourites in front of Luca Digne.
So 1-0 it remains. Villa, 4 matches unbeaten in the Premier League. Did lose, of course, in Monaco in the Champions League, so they're just underneath the top 8 in the Champions League group. A win against Celtic would probably be enough for them to get straight into the round of 16. We'll have all of that covered for you on 5 Live and Sports Extra on Wednesday night. Don't miss that. And also commentary from Bucharest on Thursday night as Manchester United go there, and coverage of all of the final matches in the Europa League with Tottenham and Rangers as well, of course. As free kick is conceded, Morgan Rogers on Sofal. West Ham get it moving, which they have to. 1-0 down here. West Ham, who've lost 4 of their last 5 in all competitions. End of Lopetegui, start of Potter. Here's Alvarez. Alvarez in field. Lines are open for 606 as well, by the way. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting for your calls. Lots and lots of Tottenham and probably Leicester City talk tonight amongst everything else. So 08085 909 693 is the number to ring. West Ham with Kilman. Cresswell gives it back to the West Ham number 26, ever present this season, Max Kilman, Maximilian Kilman, as he likes to use his full first name. Back it goes to him, Kilman, but Graham Potter comes to the edge of the coaching area and sends out 1 or 2 instructions. West Ham not going anywhere just now. Long and left-footed though. Goes for the long pass instead. Paquetá gets it down. Soler on the run through the middle.
He's brilliant at that, isn't he? He's getting his body in between man and ball and protecting it.
Konza with an excellent challenge. Comes back again. Kudus' pass. Martinez comes, he collides with the defender, and then Soler shoots from the angle and it's blocked by Konza. Well, Martinez came and he's collided with Cash, his own man. As he was stretching and trying to reach the ball, he came down and landed on Cash, and both of them now are down. I'm not surprised for Cash, and I think Martinez might have fallen awkwardly as well. He's actually holding his hip, lying on his back near the foot of the post. He did get to his feet, but then went down. And I think at the same time, you do have to consider that that Villa have a 1-0 lead here. But both of them are now up before they can receive treatment, so they're both okay.
Make sure that they stay on the pitch, but that was a brilliant opportunity and well defended by Hezri Konza. Made sure that he got back on the line because it was a certain goal that he saved.
It's out for a throw. Sofal to take this. Sofal long to the near post, flicked on by Kilman to the back post. Oh, it's bouncing off Maatsen. That could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for him, he had a teammate there in Ramsey who was able to clear it away. Comes back at the Villa defence. Maatsen in danger of losing out on this to Kudus, but he's able to get the better of him and get the ball, and Villa play it away, and they pass it away from the back. Tielemans actually in the end goes for the long pass to Watkins. He's not had a chance, has he, Ollie Watkins? Oh, he had the header, didn't he, towards the end of the first half? But that's been it. Here's Camara, who is then fouled. He was getting away in the centre circle. Souček knows he's going to be yellow carded for that, which he is. And it's a free kick. He accepts that, just walks away. Free kick to Villa in the centre circle.
Yeah, sads him down, doesn't he? Make sure that he doesn't allow him to get away from him. He's done well, Camara. Since he's come back from his injury, you can start to see he's getting his rhythm, finding his feet, quicker across the ground. Looks like Aston Villa are now going to make a change, and it is Donny Malen,
isn't it? Yeah, Donyell Malen, the new signing from Dortmund this month, who's yet to make his debut. He was on the bench last week at Arsenal.
Double change.
Yeah, double change coming.
Duran as well.
And Duran. Right, well, there's your answer.
I didn't get it. I didn't get an answer because they bought them both on.
Yeah, that's right. When in doubt. As West Ham come again, Paquetá bursting away from the halfway line. Camara gets back at him. Paquetá, the West Ham number 10, then under pressure. Just passes the ball straight at Digne, and it is Villa who break forward. And Ramsey gives it to Bailey on the right. Bailey with Cash available. Bailey comes infield. Left foot shot is blocked by a defender. Outstretched leg was enough from Zulfal to prevent it even reaching the goal. And then a foul by Rodgers on Emerson. And a yellow card for the Aston Villa man. Rodgers booked.
I wonder whether that might be his last action in the game. He's looked a little bit tired and fatigued in the second half. Morgan Rodgers had a huge influence on the first half and found some lovely pockets of space, but Graham Potter has adapted his formation in the second half. He's asked one of his two centre-backs either side of Kilman to step in, whether it's Cresswell or whether it's Zulfal, to deal with that situation of Morgan Rodgers.
Thing is though, Stephen, they're not exactly knocking on the door, are they, West Ham?
No, they're not, and that's what I said about Graham Potter's systems. They dominate possession and they cause you problems, but not at the right end of the pitch, and that's the big concern.
Aston Villa, who've already beaten West Ham twice this season, right at the start of the season in the league at the London Stadium, and then earlier this month in the FA Cup, winning 1-0 today as well. Free kick played into the penalty area, but beyond Kilman, over-hit by Cresswell, over the Villa back line that bounces all the way through. I think, will we see the changes now? Yes, we will. So Bailey, Leon Bailey is the first number that goes up, his red 31. So Donyell Marlon is coming on for him, and it is Ollie Watkins who is replaced by the ever-popular John Duran, Villa's top scorer this season. Duran with 12 goals, Watkins with 10 in all competitions. But it's a big hello from Villa Park to the new signing. Around about £20 million spent on the Dutch international Donyell Marlon, who turned 26 earlier this month. Former Arsenal youngster, was part of the squad, the Dortmund squad that reached the Champions League final last season, and he's now an Aston Villa player, number 17 on his back. Yeah,
I think one of the interesting things was when he was at PSV playing for them, he was played in an almost a box system, which was the 4-2-2-2 system, and he excelled within that system, and that is predominantly what Aston Villa play as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he fares. Tyrone Mings has just walked out in front of us, John.
Yeah, well, here he is, Tyrone Mings, and he's got his tracksuit on. Yeah, that's a great sign. Walking along, he's got a black body warmer on as well, and the crowd applauding him, and he's applauding back. Tyrone Mings, who had to go off with a knee injury in the first half. Here's Marlon straight into the action, shooting from the edge of the area, but straight at Areola, who scooped it up.
Yeah, very interesting to see what they've done now, Aston Villa. They've moved Morgan Rodgers up alongside John Duran, and Marlon's now come across to this right-hand side where Leon Bailey played. So, interesting setup as to how they see Marlon fitting into this system.
Duran trying to close down Areola, but Areola was able to pass it out into the right-back area. It's quite lovely ball now to Rodgers on the edge of the box, but he's dispossessed. Didn't even get himself into a position where he could get a shot on goal, and West Ham dealt with that well.
He wasn't offside either, John. Assistant referee shook his head. He said no, absolutely not, when asked the question by Kilman.
Yeah, well done from Alvarez as well. Excellent defensive midfield players to nip in and dispossess him, as Rodgers gets a challenge in on Souček, but Cresswell was comfortably able to get to the ball first, and West Ham about to bring Danny Ings on as well. Double change, Danny Ings and Oliver Scarles as well, the young midfielder, the teenager. So double change from Graham Potter coming right up. These will be his first two changes in the match, whereas Villa have made 3 now, and it is quite proactive. It feels like a really positive move, the Villa changes, as there's a free kick given and a yellow card for Alvarez as well. I think that had been coming, a yellow card for Alvarez in this match sooner or later, and it's arrived midway through in the 68th minute.
Yeah, well, he feels like he's being fouled, so he puts his hand on the ball and he just makes sure that Duran isn't able to pinch it. A little bit clumsy from Alvarez. Very needless yellow card to give away.
Lines are open for 606 5 Live. Phone in, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting for your calls. 08 085 909 693. Your thoughts on all of the weekend's action. Lots to discuss. Such an eventful day yesterday up and down the leagues. Free kick for Villa. Tielemans plays it into the edge of the box. That's headed away still. Villa have this 1-0 lead. Rodgers Rogers curls one into the edge of the box, but it bounces away off Ramsey. And then Camara, rather physically, against Paqueta. Then Paqueta back in with a challenge on Camara. It bounces for Ramsey. Ramsey to his left. Duran, left foot shot across the box. That was blocked as well by a West Ham body inside their penalty area. Ramsey, as Villa attack towards the packed Holt end. Rogers slips a ball through into the penalty area. Ramsey went to ground, but referee Banks not interested in the slightest in that, and Areola's got it. Stephen Warnock.
The substitutions have just bred a little bit of life into Aston Villa, a little bit more tenacity within the challenges as well from Camara in midfield, but that is exactly what Villa needed. And can now West Ham with their changes answer back?
Yeah, still waiting to bring those two men onto the field. And Villa Park, as you can hear, turns up the volume. Big banner across the front of the top tier of the Holt end to our right reads AVFC, The Obsession. Here come West Ham, though, attacking down the right with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka with Ramsey and Maatsen with him. Then it's back to the ball in from Alvarez to the back post. Emerson with the header, it's in! It's an equaliser for West Ham. Beautiful ball in from the right onto the head of Emerson, and he just had to guide it back across beyond Martinez, and West Ham have come up with the equaliser. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1.
Well, he had an opportunity before that. He should have scored and he should have levelled up. But this is all about the quality from Alvarez into that back post position. And Matty Cash just has a real issue as to who to pick up. Does he go inside and does he pick up Paqueta, or does he stay wider and deal with Emerson? He decides to go in on Paqueta. It leaves them light at the back, and it's a delicious ball into that back post area. Cash should deal with the situation a little bit better. But what a header it is from Emerson. Martinez with no chance.
So now, after that increase in the level from the Aston Villa fans, all change. It's the West Ham supporters you can hear now from their seats in the Doug Ellis stand. And with that, Villa are going to make another couple of changes, and John McGinn is going to return from injury, and Buendia as well coming on. So we're going to see both managers make a couple of changes after it's got back to all square. The goal coming, I think, in the 70th minute from Emerson, his second goal of the season. He scored in that one-sided affair when Arsenal won 5-2 at the London Stadium in one of the latter matches for Julen Lopetegui. But this one, that's worth its weight, that for West Ham, in a spell when Villa had been on top.
Yeah, they had, but credit to West Ham, and they've done it a couple of times where they've looked at that back post area and wonder whether it's something that they've targeted, where they see a weakness with Matty Cash and is defending that back post area. But watch the replay back again, it was Paqueta and it was Soler who were in that back post area as well. So he had a decision to make, and it's such a difficult decision which player you go and affect and try and pick up. He didn't pick up Emerson, and Emerson with a lovely header.
And Villa now are going to withdraw Morgan Rogers and their goal scorer as well. Jacob Ramsey is coming off. So Emi Buendia, it's been reported today that he's signed a new one-year contract extension. Just waiting for Villa's confirmation of that. But also John McGinn, good to see him back after missing the last 4 matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Two important players, especially McGinn, but I'm a big fan of Buendia. I know there was a lot of talk about him potentially going to Leeds, and then there were Saudi clubs interested, but he's a player who's worked his way back to fitness, got himself ready, showed signs against Monaco in the week that he's a very capable player, and he is a game changer, and that's what you need in games such as this, to be able to come off the bench and affect the game.
Yep, Buendia, who's gone over to the left-hand side, John McGinn in a more central area. And the thing is, we're talking about, John Duran possibly leaving Buendia. It feels that with Villa's various commitments that you know, they need them all, don't they?
You do need them all, and that's the big thing. And it's a difficult one for the manager because he's got to try and manage those situations as Paqueta goes through.
It bounces away all the way through to Martinez, and of course they've got to balance the books as well.
Absolutely,
Stephen, don't forget.
Yeah, but the manager's got to keep a happy changing room, and that's difficult.
As this latest Villa attack breaks down, ball for Duran, but West Ham have got it back, and those two West Ham men, Ings and Scarles, are still waiting on the side of the pitch. They've been there since the Villa pair were brought forward. They got ready, they're on the field. West Ham's two substitutes still waiting.
Yeah, they were due to come on just before that West Ham scored, weren't they? So maybe it was just a decision that Graham Potter said, leave it a couple of minutes, we'll see how we get on.
Cresswell with the pass down the left-hand side, so Emerson equalising, making it 1-1, 5 live on the World Service from the BBC. Souček wins a throw-in for West Ham, who are now going to make the changes. So it is, first of all, Soler, who is coming off from the midfield. So Scarles is going to come on to replace him, and the goal scorer, Emerson, will be replaced as well.
He probably thought, I can't take him off straight away. He just goes back in the game. Give him 5 minutes to run around.
Yeah.
Let him enjoy it.
Emerson, who he's a great quiz question, Emerson, the first man to win the Champions League, the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, the European Super Cup, and the Euros.
Wow. That isn't bad at all.
No, that's not bad, is it?
That's a great CV.
Throw in. Sofal to take this. So they've made the two changes. Sofal with a throw. That's a better throw. In. Souček heads it on. Headed away by Villa. And then a wild shot from Alvarez. Sliced it, hit it high, and it's bobbing around in the lower tier of the stand to our left. So it is Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1. 15 minutes to play. 6:06 on 5 Live will be on the air around about 7 o'clock tonight. There will be updates on the Fulham-Manchester United match, which kicks off at 7 o'clock. We'll have the live interviews as well during that time from this match. Ball played across. Martinez had to scamper across his 6-yard area. The Villa goalkeeper, and then Cash completes the clearance towards the halfway line. Bounces back, and then Ings, fresh into the action, is blocked by Cash, and that's a free kick to West Ham over here on the left wing.
A dangerous position. I think Danny Ings is wondering why Matty Cash hasn't been booked for that challenge. A little bit rash, but I didn't think it was a bookable offence. But Cresswell stood over this, so Fowles coming across to have a look at it as well. Dangerous position for West Ham near this left-hand touchline just in front of us.
Yep. Cresswell just puts his foot on the ball, but Sofal is there as well. It's dry now after all of the earlier rain. Still a chill in the air, this January air. 1-1 this match level. Sofal stops. Cresswell plays it in. Good delivery headed across the box by Duran, the number 9, back in his own penalty area. And then Wan-Bissaka, that's a good ball. Souček with a header, but he's put it over the top. Cash just came across in front of him, but that was an opportunity for Souček, who knows his body language, that he should have done better.
Yeah, he should have done better. It's a mismatch at the back post, and Cash again, he doesn't deal with this situation well at all. He doesn't know where the man is behind him.
Oh, they've given it away. Wan-Bissaka on the edge of the box, into the area now. Wan-Bissaka pulls it across, and it's through everyone, whether in a white West Ham shirt or claret and blue of Villa, all the way out of play. And Villa are rattled here.
They are. From looking so comfortable since they've conceded the goal, now they feel there's a lot of pressure coming from the fans. The fans are a little bit frustrated. I'm just seeing a picture of Unai Emery sat up in his position. He still looks calm, John.
Yeah, if he was on the edge of the pitch, he wouldn't be looking like that. As the ball bounces out, now is given as a Villa throw. Well, the cup tie, the FA Cup tie 16 days ago, remember, West Ham took an early lead in that, and Villa came back to win it 2-1. Right now, Aston Villa, West Ham having equalised, are on top. And Villa with the throw. Cash has stolen a good distance there. Yards and yards, takes the throw over the top of Duran, and West Ham with a new spring in their step. Play it back to Areola, long through the middle. Paqueta tries to head that on, but that was won by Konza. Souček Back to Alvarez, who provided the cross for Emerson to head the equaliser. Back to Alvarez again. New confidence, high crossfield pass. Scarles gets a touch back and then receives it again. Then the pass back to Cresswell. Cresswell infield to Alvarez. And the Mexican looks up and then rolls the ball across the surface of the Villa Park pitch over to the right-hand side, where Wan-Bissaka hits a pass that's deflected forward for Kudus. Kudus now slips inside the penalty area. That means Villa are able to knock it away. And Maatsen then back to Camara, slightly behind him, but Camara was able to retain possession for Aston Villa. Now here's Tielemans to the halfway line. McGinn, now Cash, but it's not full tilt, this Villa attack, not by any means, and Tielemans just plays it square to Camara. Short range pass to Buendia then to Maatsen, and then Maatsen blazes it, got right underneath that, got it all wrong, and it eventually bounces out of play near the corner flag for a throw-in.
Yeah, it was really nicely played by Aston Villa. It was slow, but they made their way up the pitch very easily, and no pressure from West Ham, but he's got to do better on that left-hand side, Maatsen, as he delivers that ball in.
Villa, remember, they were involved in the Champions League in Monaco in midweek, and their last 3 Champions League matches, they've lost the next Premier League game, and having started so well, now level at 1-1. Duran to McGinn now just plays it into the space for Cash, and Cash uses that space as the challenge comes in on him from Scarles, who keeps it in, and Scarles now forward for West Ham. Paquetá comes across, and Konza has gone with him and puts in the challenge. The England defender out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. 10 minutes to go, Stephen.
Yeah, he's got happy memories here, hasn't he, Scarles? Played well in the FA Cup. I think he was awarded man of the match as well, so good energy coming on that left-hand side, pushing Marlon and Matty Cash back into deeper positions, which they don't want to be in.
Yep, just his 7th senior competitive appearance, Ollie Scarles, for West Ham. And Cresswell loses out to McGinn. McGinn's pass. Duran wasn't sure where that was going, and eventually West Ham cleared it, but only to Maatsen. Maatsen now through to Duran. Kilman in with a challenge. Duran eventually got the shot in, actually sliding in, but hit it wide. Full stretch, feet first, wide of the post and behind.
Yeah, he almost made a challenge himself because he realised Kilman was going to get there, so he slid on the floor and tried to get the shot away and catch out Areola. Nearly caught him out at the near post, but very difficult opportunity for Aston Villa and for Duran.
10 minutes to play. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693 to talk tonight with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. There will be the usual Sunday night Premier League review on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast feed. That's free from BBC Sounds, where you get all of your live BBC radio. Free for the price of the licence fee, at least. Here's Alvarez, passing it to the right-hand side, and then Wan-Bissaka and Kudus, and back it goes towards the halfway line, as West Ham will start again with Kilman. Left-footed pass over the top. I'm not sure if Wan-Bissaka had gone too early. There's no flag yet. Wan-Bissaka takes it on the cross, and then Paquetá misses it, but it comes out for Ings with a shot that is not far wide of the foot of Martinez's left post.
Oh, I thought he'd come back to haunt his former club, Danny Ings, and nearly found that bottom corner, but Wan-Bissaka's having a field day out on that right-hand side. He's really enjoying himself. You can see the confidence is brimming. Slows Buendia down a couple of times, then just dinks a ball in. Paquetá tries the overhead kick, and as it comes to Danny Ings, he chests it down and he drives it towards the bottom right-hand corner. Martinez is at full stretch. Would he have got there? I'm not so sure he would.
Not sure. It was just wide. Inches wide. Centimetres wide. Here's McGinn. Villa have got it inside the West Ham half. And out it goes to Maatsen. But there's no real intensity from Villa. That equaliser's really knocked the wind out of them.
Yeah, I think this is sometimes it's the way Villa play, though. Oh, he's had his pocket pinch there. Look at Digne, too slow.
Digne beaten. Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? Digne dwelt on the ball and Kudus was in. And Kudus is in danger now of losing it himself. Halfway inside his own half, but he's able to steer it to Sofal. Comes back through the middle for Villa. McGinn.
Has he not give that?
McGinn has been manhandled by Alvarez. But referee says play on. So Maatsen, who came on in the first half for the injured Mings, and this Villa attack breaks down. Paquetá attempted the pass through. It was blocked though by Tielemans, and then Maatsen slides in to put it out of play for a throw-in for West Ham, which Wan-Bissaka takes. Then Souček, first time touch. They do look sharper, West Ham, I have to say, in this stage of the game. Wan-Bissaka continues to take it on towards the edge of the area. Souček is there as well. Souček's ball across, that's deflected. Tielemans with a touch, but Paquetá closed that down. Now Wan-Bissaka again, might have been fouled, might have been tripped. No, says the referee, still on the ground. Paquetá gets involved and comes out with the ball and then flicks it for Sofal. And then Sofal's ball across, off camera, just past his own post, probably 3 or 4 yards wide. Didn't threaten an own goal, but it's a corner.
He's great to watch, isn't he, Paquetá? Just a close control, lovely little back heel into the path of Sofal. No one else sees that apart from him. No one else could probably execute it apart from him. It leads to another corner from West Ham. They've been dangerous from them. Wan-Bissaka looks like a world beater out on that right-hand side, doesn't he? The confidence he's got, some of the skills he's showing. See that at United.
Well, occasionally you did, but here is certainly Paquetá with that sort of talent. Mind you, he has played over 50 times for Brazil, so you generally need to have that in your locker, don't you, if you have that level of success with Brazil. So the corner then for West Ham, which is in and headed wide. It was jumping for it, possibly closest to it was Kilman, and whether he got the final touch or not, there are a couple of West Ham players who jumped for it. Kudus was up there as well. Might have been Kudus the final touch.
Yeah, I think it was Kudus. I don't know whether Kilman was just disappointed that Kudus took it off his head, and it was a clear opportunity for him to get a clear header at goal.
Digne turns and plays it back to Martinez. 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes of the 90 to play. Still level at 1-1. Ramsey early on for Villa. And Emerson with the equaliser, the header from the Alvarez cross. And Villa come forward again. Here is Maatsen, groans, misplaced pass, but that's given away by West Ham. And Camara is going to take no chances with Paquetá herring around. Plays it all the way back to goalkeeper Martinez. Camara then takes it. Oh, Alvarez leans into it.
It's a second yellow.
And and he says no. Peter Banks is saying no. Well, had he not been booked, Stephen, that is the classic. I think that would have been a yellow card.
Oh, and he'll be getting subbed straight away. They've already got someone up off the bench, and I think that could be the change that they make.
Yeah, Andy Irving's going to come on. Graham Potter's reacted immediately there, and that wasn't the first time either. There was a moment a little earlier where I thought Alvarez was...
It was the foul on McGinn, wasn't it? And he played on.
Was playing it dangerously. Tielemans back out. Marlon now on the right. Marlon's ball in, but a stretch puts it behind from Cresswell to corner to Villa, and they've managed to break away from the pressure that they were under, and now have an opportunity with the set piece at the other end.
Yeah, straight away they're asking Luca Digne to take the free kick. Oh, the set piece, sorry, the corner that comes in. Austin McPhee trying to organise this set piece, and this is a big opportunity for Villa to strike late on.
So Digne to take this, and just waiting. Left-footed now with the delivery to the back post, but that's headed away by Kilman, commanding from Kilman. Sort of raced towards it, very, very positive, and headed it cleanly away. It's all the way back with Villa goalkeeper Martinez. Long from him downfield. Scarles jumps for it. Marlon's in on the challenge. Souček as well. Marlon's...
Oh, he's quick, isn't he?
Was all over Cresswell there. He had no right to get to that, but he did. And Marlon plays it to Buendia. and now into the edge of the box where it bounces away, and on the edge of the box, Camera and Tielemans actually left it for one another, and then the referee has brought it back for a foul on Sofal, and a free kick to West Ham on the edge of their own box, and it remains 1-1.
Yeah, just too eager there, John McGinn, to get the ball back. He didn't really need to do that. I think Sofal was panicking that he didn't have any options around him, and here is that sub, John, and it tells you everything. That Graham Potter knows how lucky his team are to have 10 men, or 11 men still on the pitch, and Alvarez is so lucky to still be on the pitch.
Yeah, Alvarez being cheered off by the West Ham supporters, being booed off by the Aston Villa followers, and off he comes. Graham Potter just mops his brow there. He grew up, Graham Potter, in an Aston Villa supporting family, followed them, but that very abruptly came to an end when he signed for Birmingham City. So, but here he is, Graham Potter. His first match was here at Villa Park as the West Ham manager. His last match at Chelsea was at Villa Park, and his first Premier League away match with West Ham is here at Villa Park. And currently it's 1-1. Marlon, the shaven-headed Marlon, carrying the ball forward. He's brought some energy to Aston Villa, but he's been dispossessed by Scholes, who passes it forward, but cut out by a sliding Konza with Paqueta on the run behind him.
Oh, I thought that was perfect. I thought Konza wasn't getting anywhere near it, but he put the afterburners on, slid, made sure he intercepted it, because it was a magnificent pass.
One of our own Ollie Scholes singing his name. That'll feel good to the youngster, 19 years old, ruddy-cheeked, isn't he, just down in front of us. We can see his breath on the air, and we're in the 90th minute now. Right now, it's on us even. 6:06 coming up on 5 Live. It's 7 o'clock or thereabouts. But Camera is played forward by Tielemans. Now Irving gets his first touch. Souček for Kudus. Digne had to be careful there. He stabbed it away via a deflection off Kudus, which has enraged the West Ham supporters who are right in our eye line over there. And goal kick is given. 7 minutes of added time. That's enough time to win the match for either team.
I'm interested here because the actual reaction of the West Ham benches, they're frustrated with that. Now, is that because they feel that they're happy with a point? I'm not so sure what they're wondering down there.
So 1-1 it is, and Villa playing the ball out from the back. Tielemans passes it through, tried to pass it through the inside right position, but Scholes was in place for West Ham. Now Kudus curls one forward for Ings. He had his chance against one of his former clubs. He joined West Ham from Aston Villa. Danny Ings now forward from Cresswell. That just lands in the full-back position. And Paqueta is first to it. Konza is right with him. The two of them now are down walking pace. Actually, he stops the ball. And then it's taken on by Irving for West Ham. Back to Paqueta. Paqueta passes it to Ings inside the penalty area. Almost got the pass through. Cut out by Camera. Camera still with the ball at his feet inside the area. Ings is chasing him, herring around after him, pushes him in the back, but Camera keeps possession. And Villa now in the 2nd minute of added time, 7 minutes added on. Tielemans, oh, that's a lovely pass. Maatsen takes it on into the box. West Ham have got men coming back, and that was well defended by Wan-Bissaka, who kept pace with him.
What a game he's had, Wan-Bissaka. He's stretching now. He felt that challenge, had to make sure he went stride for stride with Maatsen.
Maatsen again receives it from Tielemans. Here's the cross. It's gone all the way to the back post, but that's cleared away. Scholes was in position there. It's headed down by Camera, and then and Tielemans gets a shove from Kudus, but he keeps his feet. Then he gets another shove, and the ball eventually rolls out of play. And the coaches from both teams, all of them there, throw their arms in the air. Throwing is taken. Cross from the right-hand side, looking for Duran, but Kilman won the header there, ahead of Duran. And West Ham, Souček up against Maatsen. He does well. Souček comes out with the ball, plays it infield. Now Kudus helps it on. Huya to the left-hand side. West Ham on the attack. Scarles looks up. Scarles lifts a pass, looking for Souček. He heads it across. Paqueta chests it down. Might have had his shirt pulled by Digne. Went down. Irving with a shot on the edge of the box. That's blocked at source by Tielemans. Bounces to Camara. Camara goes for a long one. This is for Duran to chase. He's with Kilman, and as the ball bounced up, Kilman was able to hook it away with his left foot. And this is hinting at a rousing finish.
Oh, it's a brilliant finish to the game, isn't it? Really is.
3rd minute of added time. Still 1-1. It's there for someone to snatch it if they can. Long crossfield from Cresswell to the edge of the area. Souček heads it down. Paqueta is there. He's caused so many problems for Aston Villa. But now it is Villa passing it forward to Buendia. Buendia holds off Wan-Bissaka near the centre circle. Tangle of arms. Tielemans through to the strong John McGinn. Camara ends up with the ball at his feet, just tracks it slowly forward, and then he gets it back. Camara forward towards Duran, who goes down rather easily under the challenge of Kilman. No free kick. Kudus now. Kudus, he rises through the challenge. Oh, and then Paqueta chasing after the ball. I think he's gone in the hamstring. Paqueta, in the final moments here, has pulled up there, whether it's cramp or whether it's his hamstring. Yeah, just cramp. As McGinn, after West Ham couldn't make any more of that, it's Villa who come forward again towards the Holt end. Everyone down in front of us in the Trinity Road stand gets to their feet. Cross from Tielemans, deflected into the box, headed away by Kilman, comes out to Buendia, chests it down but sends the shot very high over the bar, the middle of the bar, and into the lower tier of the Holt end.
Difficult skill, really difficult skill for Buendia. Under a little bit of pressure, the touch bounces a little bit too high. You've got to get your knee over the ball. Such difficult skill when you're trying to do that. But you think about that chance at the other end, John, for Paqueta, as that long diagonal has caused Villa so many problems. Over to Souček and then into Paqueta. Tries the overhead kick and he couldn't quite get connection on it.
It was risky from Digne as well. He had a hold of him.
Yeah, he did. But I don't think there was too much in it.
Not enough.
No.
Aston Villa 1. West Ham 1. 08 085 909 693 to book your call on 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Camara. No, that's a free kick, although I think West Ham Villa were away with it there with the ball, and the referees brought it back for the free, and then McGinn went down under Irving's challenge. Scott on Scott.
He's a big lad, isn't he, Irving? I like him now. Straight away, see his touch on the ball, his awareness of where people are around them, and like you say, John, he's physical as well.
Yeah, I mean, quite a find as well for West Ham, for a player who is playing in the 3rd tier in Germany with Turk Gücü Munich, and then ended up with Austria Klagenfurt, now playing in the Premier League with West Ham. Final minutes here, final minutes of added time. There is Irving playing it forward. Tielemans sends it back forward for Villa, and then Buendia goes down but concedes a free kick that West Ham are looking to take quickly. We've now had 6 minutes, so we're into the last minute, the final minute of added time, and various officials, media people. There's our mate Will Perry down on the touchline with his massive blue flat cap, heading off to do his interviews.
It's Peaky Blinders, doesn't he?
He does. He's in the right place for it, and West Ham are going to make a change right at the end with Guido Rodriguez, the Argentine World Cup winner, coming on to replace Kudus. Just making sure, I think, that West Ham get this point away from home. It'll be their first draw under Graham Potter's management. And free kick that Areola is taking some time to take. All in yellow, away over there in front of the emptying Doug Ellis stand. Areola, long and high through the middle, comes off Camara's head, but bounces for his teammate Cash, who's able to turn and take the ball out to the right and then to the halfway line, but the ball forward is blocked. Bounces over there to the far side. Wan-Bissaka slides in, can't keep it in play. It's a throw in. Wan-Bissaka has run away with the ball, but there is one there on the cone, which is right next to where the throw-in is taken by Maatsen. Now back to Cash on the right-hand side. Could be the last attack of the match, this. Villa towards the famous Holt end. Tielemans now to the edge of the box. McGinn on the turn. Ball runs away, and Irving is able to get a touch, and it's cleared away by Wan-Bissaka up to Paquetá, who's having his shirt pulled by Konza, and then a touch nicely by Paquetá, and then Ings gives it to the right-hand side. They're coming forward now with Irving. Still going on his left foot, a low shot. Martinez makes the save, he's not gathered it. Still in the area, offside flags against Souček. Paquetá puts it in the net, but the flag is up. They will have a look at it though. The ball is in the Villa net. Villa want to take this free kick, but the referee is saying, hang on to Martinez, you can't take it yet. We need to check and see if that was offside.
Yeah, well, Martinez will be hoping it's offside because it's an error from the goalkeeper. As he spills it out, it's clearly offside. Yeah, 100% offside. You don't even need to go to VAR to really look at that.
Yeah, the decision is confirmed. It remains Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1. That saved Martinez's blushes. That would have been an embarrassing one for Emi Martinez. And there we are, the final whistle goes, and it does finish all square. A point apiece. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1. Stephen 1.
A hugely entertaining second half. I mean, the game really came to life in that second half, and credit to West Ham. They were a little bit toothless in the first half in the way that they attacked against Aston Villa, but second half, they started to create more opportunities, and they grew into the game, got themselves back into it. I thought Aston Villa, with their substitutions, would have sort of gone on to win this game quite comfortably in the second half, but credit to Graham Potter and the changes that he made as well. A thoroughly entertaining game.
Yeah, and that after Villa took the early lead, I think Paquetá is still struggling there, you know, just looking down at him, limping off the field, but Villa taking the early lead through that well-worked goal from Jacob Ramsey. But West Ham equalising just when Villa were having a good spell in the second half. A very good header by Emerson after an excellent cross from Alvarez. So for Graham Potter, who is out there now on the pitch with his players, that is 4 points out of 9 now, which is okay.
Yeah, it's not bad, and when you look at the squad and where the squad is at the moment without any forward players, I think he's got a little bit of not a dilemma, but an issue with where does he play Paquetá. I think that position suits him to an absolute T. That hold-up play at the end, it tells you everything about him. He's got that physicality to hold it up.
He's involved in the game there.
I love him in that position. I think of Roberto Firmino in that position that he used to play. Used to ask so many questions of centre-backs. Are you going to come in that position with me? If you do, fine, I'll hold it up, I'll take it off you. If not, and you go a little bit longer, I'm quite happy to back into you as well.
And what's a great sight right now, actually, is Tyrone Mings, who we really feared for in the first half when he had to go off, tried to play on, eventually had to leave the pitch, and he's walking very freely now. I say it's a great sight. He's got that awful fawn-coloured Aston Villa tracksuit on.
Yeah.
But apart from that, great sight. He's walking easily. He's applauding towards the Holt end as well, as the West Ham players are booed off by the Villa fans behind us. But that's great to see.
Yeah,
Tyrone Mings.
it is great, but we just hope that obviously he's going to get scanned and get looked at and make sure that everything is okay. If it's a short period of time, that's absolutely fine. If it's long term, we wish him well, but it is a positive, hopefully, to see him out on that pitch walking quite freely.
Yep, so there we are. It is a point apiece. Aston Villa's little unbeaten run in the Premier League continues. They remain unbeaten in the Premier League in 2025. Final score here.